stomach, we should know normal anatomy first. What is normal anatomy? Now, stomach is curved circular organ. As you know, the contralateral border on the right side it is called lesser curvature, and the convex lateral left border is called greater curvature. Stomach is divided into four major anatomic regions: the cardia, buttocks, body, and antrum. The wall of the stomach is made up of four layers like rest of GIT, like mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, externa, and other, and outermost layer of the serosa. Mucosa is thrown into longitudinal running folds called rugae. And there are three types of glands: cardiac glands, parietal glands, and thyroid glands. The cardiac glands contain mainly by mucin secreting cells. Parietal glands, also called auxiliary glands, are scattered in corners and body and has parietal cells, and it secretes hydrochloride. Cheek cell secretes trypsin, and endocrine cells secrete gastrin. The parietal cells also secrete intrinsic factor, which is essential for vitamin B12 absorption. The thyroid glands contain mucus secreting cells and endocrine cells. Endocrine cells of antrum secrete several hormones such as G cells secrete gastrin, D cells secrete somatostatin, EC cells secrete 5-hydroxytryptamine. Now, acute gastritis. Acute gastritis is a transient mucosal inflammatory process. It may be asymptomatic or cause variable degree of symptoms like epigastric pain, nausea, vomiting. In more severe cases, there may be mucosal erosion, ulceration, hemorrhage, hematemesis, melena, or rarely it causes massive blood loss. Now, pathogenesis. As you know, the gastric lumen is strongly acidic with pH close to 1. This harsh environment contributes to digestion, but it has also the potential to damage gastric mucosa. But there are multiple mechanisms have evolved to protect the gastric mucosa, like mucin secreted by surface foveolar cells form a thin layer of mucus that prevent large food particles from directly touching the epithelium. The mucus layers also promote formation of unstarred layer of fluid over the epithelium that protects the mucosa and it has a neutral pH as a result of bicarbonate ion secretions by surface epithelial cells. And finally, the rich vascular supply to gastric mucosa deliver oxygen, bicarbonate, and nutrients. Acute or chronic gastritis can occur following disruptions of any of these protective mechanisms. First, the acid secretions. As you know, normally mucosal luminal epithelial cells are bound to each other by intercellular tight junctions and provides barrier to back diffusion of hydrogen ion. And the surface cells also secrete acid buffer like bicarbonate ion, which neutralize hydrogen ions and acts as barrier for hydrogen ion induced damage. If these mucosal barriers are impaired or damaged by the causative agents and permit penetrations of hydrogen ion into the mucosa, which stimulates further secretions of the gastric acid and pepsinogen. What are the causative agents which damage mucosal layer, like aspirin, bile acid, pancreatic enzymes, and ethanol? All these agents impair the mucosal barrier and it damage and cause inflammation to the gastric mucosa. Now, reduced blood flow. Reduced blood flow occurs due to stress, septic shock, or if person is taking nicotine, which causes vasoconstriction. These etiological agents causes ischemia which impair various functions and accumulations of acid ion. Third one is inadequate synthesis of mucosal prostaglandin. Like aspirin and other NSAIDs are the etiological agents. Gastric mucosa contain cyclooxygenase enzymes which synthesize prostaglandin within the mucosal cells. Prostaglandins plays an important role in mucosal defense. NSAID inhibits cyclooxygenase resulting in decreased synthesis of prostaglandin and increases the susceptibility of the gastric mucosa to injury.
हमने हाँ 60 रुपया है 80 रुपया है.
The reduced mucin synthesis in elderly has been suggested as one factor that may explain their increased susceptibility to gastritis. Fifth one is gastric injury that occurs in uremic patients or those infected with urea secreting H. pylori may be due to inhibition of gastric bicarbonate transporter by ammonium ions. And sixth one is ingestions of harsh chemicals, particularly acids, bases, either accidentally or as suicide attempts, also result in severe gastric injury, predominantly as a result of direct injury to mucosal epithelium and stomach cells. Direct cellular injury is also implicated in gastritis due to excessive alcohol consumption, NSAID, radiation therapy and chemotherapy. Finally, decreased oxygen therapy may explain increased incidence of acute gastritis at high altitudes. Now, morphology. Histologically, we see lamina propria shows only moderate edema and slight vascular congestion. The surface epithelium is intact, although scattered neutrophil may be present among the epithelial cells or within mucosal glands. In contrast, an abundance of lymphocytes or plasma cells such as proteases. With more severe mucosal damage, erosion and hemorrhage develop, and erosion denotes loss of the superficial epithelium generating a defect in the mucosa that is limited to the lamina propria and accompanied by a pronounced neutrophil infiltrate within the mucosa and a fibrin containing purulent exudate in the lumen. Hemorrhage may occur and cause dark punctate in otherwise hyperemic mucosa. Concurrent erosions and hemorrhage is termed acute erosive hemorrhagic gastritis. Large areas of the gastric surface may be denuded, although the involvement is typically superficial. When erosion extends deeply, they may progress to ulcer. Now, acute gastric ulceration. It is well-known complication of NSAID therapy. It is focal acutely developed gastric mucosal defect. They may also appear after several physiologic stress. Some of these are given a specific name based on location and clinical association. For example, stress ulcer are most common in individuals with shock, sepsis or severe trauma. Ulcers occurring in the proximal duodenum and associated with severe burns or trauma are called curling ulcers. And gastric, duodenal and esophageal ulcers arising in person with intracranial disease are termed Cushing ulcers and carry a high incidence of perforation. Now, pathogenesis. NSAID-induced ulcer are related to cyclooxygenase inhibition. This prevents synthesis of prostaglandins which enhance bicarbonate secretions and inhibit acid secretion. Now, chronic gastritis. In contrast to acute gastritis, the symptom associated with chronic gastritis is typically less severe but more persistent. Nausea and upper abdominal discomfort may occur sometimes with vomiting, but hematemesis is uncommon. The most common cause of chronic gastritis is infection with the Bacillus H. pylori. Other chronic irritants including psychological stress, caffeine, alcohol, and tobacco users were considered the primary cause of gastritis. Autoimmune gastritis, the most common cause of atrophic gastritis, it represents less than 10% of cases of chronic gastritis. Most common form of chronic gastritis in patients without H. pylori infections. Less common etiologies include radiation injury, chronic bile reflux, mechanical injury, and involvement by systemic disease such as Crohn's disease, amyloidosis, or graft versus host disease. H. pylori gastritis. These spiral-shaped or curved bacilli are present in gastric biopsy specimen of almost all patients with duodenal ulcers and the majority of individuals with gastric ulcers or chronic gastritis. H. pylori infections is associated with poverty, household prodding, limited education. The mode of H. pylori transmission is not well defined, but humans are the only known host, making oral, fecal-oral, and environmental spread the most likely routes of infections. H. pylori infection is most common cause of chronic gastritis. The disease most often present as a predominantly enteral gastritis with high acid production. The risk of duodenal ulcer is increased in this patient, and in most gastritis is limited to the antrum with occasional involvement of the cardia. In a subset of patients with gastritis progress to involve the gastric body and fundus. This band gastritis is associated with multifocal mucosal atrophy, reduced acid secretion, intestinal metaplasia, and increased risk of gastric adenocarcinoma. There are four features are linked to H. pylori virulence. First, flagella, which allow the bacteria to be motile in viscous mucus. Urease, which generate ammonia from endogenous urea and thereby elevate local gastric pH. Adhesin, that enhance their bacterial adherence to surface foveolar cells. And toxins such as cytotoxin associated gene that may be involved in ulcer or cancer development by poorly defined mechanism. H. pylori infection results in increased acid production and disruptions of normal gastric or duodenal protective mechanism. Now, morphology. Gastric biopsy specimens generally demonstrate H. pylori in infected individuals. The organism is concentrated within the superficial mucous overlaying epithelial cells in the surface and neck region. Organisms are most easily demonstrated with a Wardin steri silver stain. Organisms are abundant within surface mucus. Neutrophils are prominent in intraepithelial and lamina propria. Lymphoid aggregate with germinal center and abundant subepithelial plasma cell within the superficial lamina propria. Several diagnostic tests have been developed, including non-invasive serological tests for antibodies to H. pylori, fecal bacteria detection, urea blood test based on the generation of ammonia by bacterial urease. Gastric biopsy specimen can also be analyzed by the rapid urease test, bacterial culture, or bacterial DNA detection by PCR. Effective treatment for H. pylori infection include combination of antibiotic and proton pump inhibitors. Now, autoimmune gastritis. Autoimmune gastritis account for less than 10% of cases of chronic gastritis. In contrast to that caused by H. pylori, autoimmune gastritis typically spares the antrum and includes hypergastrinemia. Autoimmune gastritis is characterized by antibodies to parietal cells and intrinsic factors that can be detected in serum and gastric secretions and reduce serum pepsinogen 1 concentration, endocrine cell hyperplasia, vitamin B12 deficiency, and defective gastric acid secretion achlorhydria. A pathogenesis of autoimmune gastritis is associated with loss of parietal cells which are responsible for secretion of gastric acid and intrinsic factor. The absence of acid production stimulates gastric release resulting in hypergastrinemia and hyperplasia of enteral gastrin producing G cells. Lack of intrinsic factor disables ileal vitamin B12 absorption leading to vitamin B12 deficiency and a slow onset megaloblastic anemia, that is pernicious anemia. The reduced serum pepsinogen 1 concentration results from cheap cell destruction. High serum gastrin and low serum pepsinogen level are present. The genesis of the mucosal damage is probably CD4 plus T cell mediated. The morphology of autoimmune gastritis is characterized by diffuse mucosal damage of oxyntic, that is acid producing mucosa within the body, and fundus. Damage to the antrum and cardia is typically absent or mild. With diffuse atrophy, the oxyntic mucosa of the body and fundus appears markedly thinned and jugal folds are absent. If vitamin B12 deficiency is severe, nuclear enlargement, that is megablastic changes occurs within epithelial cells. Neutrophils may be present, but the inflammatory infiltrate is more often composed of lymphocytes, macrophages, plasma cells. Lymphoid aggregates may be present. When atrophy is incomplete, residual islands of oxyntic mucosa may give the appearance of multiple small polyps or nodules. Small surface elevation may be apparent, and these correlate with areas of intestinal metaplasia, which is characterized by the presence of goblet cells and columnar absorptive cells. Over time, hypergastrinemia can stimulate endocrine cell hyperplasia in the fundus and body. Rarely, this may progress to form small multicentric low-grade endocrine or carcinoid tumors. Clinical features. It causes anemia, that is lack of intrinsic factor causes vitamin B12 deficiency, may cause atrophic glossitis in which the tongue becomes smooth and beefy red, epithelial megaloblastosis and malabsorptive diarrhea. Vitamin B12 deficiency may also cause peripheral neuropathy, spinal cord lesion and cerebral dysfunctions. Neuropathic changes include demyelination, axonal degeneration and neuronal death. Now some uncommon form of gastritis like reactive gastritis, eosinophilic gastritis, lymphocytic gastritis and granulomatous gastritis. So these all are about gastritis. Thank you.